Here we go. It's a Thursday and a good one. Live in Los Angeles, it's the Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. I love today's show. Joy Taylor is joining me. Bruce Feldman in 1 hour. Saban Jimbo Fisher. Gloves are off this morning. Haven't seen anything like this in a decade in college football. This is old school. It's unbelievable. Joy, how are you?
Old school is definitely a word I would use to describe what's going on here. There are a lot of older people having some trouble adjusting to the new world, to put it politely.
Barkley and Shaq yelling at each other last night. Saban
that's normal.
Jimbo Fisher yelling at each other this morning. All right, let's start with the Warriors Mavericks series. Dallas will not shoot that poorly the rest of the series. Dallas had 25 uncontested three-point shots. They made 8. It was brutal. I've never seen a good team miss more open threes. But I said after game 1, Celtics Heat, I couldn't take a lot from Miami's win. They had 3 more days rest. They were at home. The Celtics lost Marcus Smart right before tip-off, their best defender. They came out of a grueling series. I can't take much from that series. I still like Boston in 6. But I watched last night, and I picked the Warriors to win in 6, and there's some things that Golden State does that could give Dallas trouble, and it may not change. Now, Dallas will shoot better, and Luka will bounce back. He's had some atrocious playoff games, 1 or 2, always bounces back. But here's the issue. Dallas was rested. Dallas was healthy. And Dallas got worked by Golden State's defense. And I said this, my prediction was before the series, Phoenix did not match up with Luka. Outside of Mikal Bridges, and he's not a great matchup, they don't really have enough bodies to throw at him. Booker can't guard him. Chris Paul can't guard him. Jay Crowder's too slow. Ayton's not quick enough. But Golden State's got 3 guys they can put on him, and they can take turns. Draymond Green, elite defender. Andrew Wiggins, high-end defender. Jonathan Kuminga, wildly twitchy, athletic kid you can put on 4 or 5 minutes a half. Body after body after body after body, and they're going to make things, there'll be obstacles for Luka. Now, he'll bounce back, but this is going to be a tougher series for Luka, and he single-handedly carved up in Game 7 Phoenix. He's not going to do that here in repeated games. Also, things that work in Golden State's favor. Dallas looked tight. Well, they should. They haven't been here before. Golden State looked relaxed. Well, they should. They've been here a lot before. Also, very rarely does the favorite play with more urgency. But those Golden State guys, Clay, Steph, and Draymond, they know this could be it. They're getting older. They're getting injured more. The favorite here is playing with more urgency. I mean, Dallas knows there's a long runway for Luka and championships. They got 10 more years of this stuff. And so the only concern I had about Golden State, offense is about talent, defense is about motivation. It's hard to play defense. You have to motivate guys to play defense. Did Golden State so trouble Dallas? Did Golden State so discombobulate Dallas so easily that on the defensive end, are they going to get that effort in their next home game? That's the thing I worry about, because we know Golden State, even with KD, has a history. Teams that are brilliant offensively, Clay and Steph and Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, teams that score quickly can take their foot off the gas. Now, we've talked about this. If you play great defense like the Celtics, they have bad games, but they bring that defense. Like, that's pretty consistent. Golden State didn't even show up against Memphis. They barely got off the bus. They lost by they were down by 50. That happened when Kevin Durant was there. When buckets come easy, and for Golden State, they come fast, they come in threes, they come in bunches. Sometimes they have a history in the last 6-7 years. They take their foot off the gas. Now, they're favored by over 6 points in game 2. That seems like a lot because Dallas is they're gonna hit some of these shots. They had 25 open threes. They got great looks. And if you play Luka the way they played Luka, you're going to get other guys open. And they're going to hit more than 8. If they hit 13, 14, if they'd have hit 3 in the first half, we'd had a real game at half. But Steve Kerr talked about it. They threw a lot of looks at Luka, and it was effective.
I thought Wiggs was fantastic. Doncic is as difficult a cover as there is in this league. I think it's important to try to to make him work. He's so good. Any great player in the league, you're just trying to limit the damage that they do.
There are real matchup advantages for the Warriors over the Mavericks, and you could see it last night. Dallas will shoot better, and they'll win a game or two. But in Boston-Miami's case, I didn't feel like Game 1 was a tell. I kind of did last night in Game 1 of this series. Okay, we got a little fight going on. So Nick Saban has dominated college football. And Nick, I like Nick. I know Nick. Spent a little time with Nick. I like Nick. But Nick is very manipulative. When he's got something to say, a message, Joy and I have joked about this, he goes to the podium, and you can just throw him a question, and he'll go in another direction because he's got a message he wants to send to college football. So Alabama this year, Texas A&M out-recruited him and beat him on 4 or 5 five-star kids. And so Nick, in front of some of his boosters, the big money guys, as the NIL now, you can buy that high school player occasionally, right? So Nick last night said this, taking shots at Jimbo Fisher and A&M, and it was in front of some of his well-heeled donors.
I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
That's sending a message. I need more money from the donors. Texas has oil money, energy money. Texas is a much richer state than Alabama. Sark can recruit, Jimbo can recruit, and they have richer donors. They got more money. And so he's sending that message. Those guys buy all their players. First of all, Nick's being a hypocrite, and I love him. But when Nick Saban got to Alabama, he gray-shirted players for 2 or 3 years. It's considered sleazy. It was considered sleazy. Big Ten coaches see it as treasonous. It's a bad deal. It's too complicated for people that don't like recruiting like me, but a lot of coaches see it as sleazy. It's over-recruiting a year before, and Nick did it because he wanted to get good fast, and he over-recruit guys and then pair them off and send guys that couldn't play to, Troy and the schools around there. And it was a way to have fewer whiffs in recruiting, and a lot of coaches went, I heard from coaches. A lot of coaches are like, what Saban's doing sleazy. Nick did whatever it took. That was the transfer portal before the transfer portal. Okay, Nick, you know I'm right on this, and that's true. It was legal, but it's kind of sleazy. Well, you can buy high school players now. It's a little sleazy, but it's legal. You can. I don't like it. I've said before, I think NIL, you should have to be in a college campus for say a year, and then you can be paid as a sophomore, a junior, or a senior. I don't like the idea that Nick Saban or anybody goes into a high school, a 16-year-old's house and buys him. That feels like that's not the intent of NIL is to reward college kids, not to buy high school kids, right? So I think there needs to be some guardrails on this. It's like the NBA has a one and done. You know why they do that? Because the NBA doesn't want their general managers at high school games. They want them at Duke or Carroll. They don't want their general managers, Jerry West in his prime, at a high school game in South Carolina. And so in name, image, likeness, I'm not comfortable with. But anyway, Saban took a shot. Texas A&M bought all their players. And there are rumors. I've had a few texts from coaches. There are rumors about A&M doing that. Jimbo Fisher this morning responded.
It's a shame that we have to do this. It's really despicable. It's despicable that somebody can say things about somebody and an organization. More importantly, 17-year-old kids. You're taking shots at 17-year-old kids and their families. That they broke state laws. That they're all money. We bought every player on this group. We never bought anybody. No rules were broken. Nothing was done wrong. It was all in the way we do things, the ethics in which we do things. And these families, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way.
By the way, Nick gray shirting, and I like it. What Texas A&M may be doing, I'm told, I don't like it. In both cases, what are you going to do about it? I mean, there's always loopholes. That's why rich people have accountants. To try to stay ahead of the IRS. There's loopholes. You can take advantage of loopholes. In fact, a rich guy may fire his tax accountant if he doesn't find loopholes. So don't get me started on this. I like Nick. But Nick talks always with intent. Nick is always intentional. No exceptions. Nick never just ad-libs. Nick, from the day he's been at Alabama, sends messages. And he was sending messages to his donors, I need more money. We're going up against those Texas schools, and Alabama's not a rich state. Texas, I think, is the third richest economy in this state. California by a mile, New York, Texas. They got big oil money, and those guys love their college football. And they got big energy money, and those guys love their college football. And they're Longhorns and they're Aggies. And but Jimbo took it a step further. He went after Nick personally.
Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past.
Boo! Getting salty out here. I'm going to defend Jimbo Fisher. Nick's being a hypocrite. Nick said it for a reason. Nick made it personal. Nick went over the line. Nick needs to apologize. There is no proof Texas A&M is buying players. My gut feeling is no proof. Nick needs to apologize. He needs to call